Josh Hart, the rebounding rate last couple of games, whew, it's been looking good. You see the numbers right there on the screen: 16.7% rebounding percent this season. His career best is 13.8. So this is better than he's ever been in terms of rebounding the ball. I get it. It's 4 games, small sample size, folks. But is this real or not, Bryan? Can Josh Hart keep this up? Will he have the best rebounding rate of his career? Real or not? What you say?
Of his career, I think that could be real. I think it could be real because the way the team is constructed and Mitchell Robinson's not playing right now. So the pathway is kind of there because while Karl Anthony Towns has done a good job in the boards in totality, he's not going to get 20 every game, 15 every game, nothing like that. Like, I think there's a pathway for Josh Hart to potentially do that on this team and the way the roster fits. So I'll say real. I don't know if it's going to be 17%, but I think it could be real.
I actually agree. I think I don't know if it'll be 17%, but I think I think it's real. He can hit 14.5 to 15%. I think that number is real with this team and the way he's constructed, and he just is relentless in going for boards. He is literally the best rebounding person for his size. We're at 6'4" and under, right, in the league. So
I forget
yeah,
he's only 6'4". He plays like he's 6'8", 6'7".
he does, and I think that matters on this team a lot. So I'm going with you. I'm rocking with this. I'm going real. I think he's going to stay. There will be some dippage, if you want to say that, at some points, but I think, or slippage in the numbers, I should say. But yeah, I'm going with Josh Hart's rebounding rate as real. All right, next one I want to talk to you about is Miles McBride.
Yes, that's where I wanted to go next.
Miles McBride. Look. I talked about this. I talked about this with Sky Zoo, who joined me this week on New York Got Game, was in the studio with me to talk about it. Shout out to Sky Zoo. New album dropping at the end of the month. New single with Method Man out right now.
Always love a new Sky Zoo album. Always.
I'm not sure, Bryan. And Bryan, I'm a little older than you, and Al and I were talking about this watching the Knicks a little longer than you. I cannot think of a Knicks player, okay, who, in terms of development, I've seen better of an increase in shooting, where the person struggled with their shot, and now when they shoot the ball, I'm like, oh, that's going in. Like, it feels automatic. I'm not sure I've seen any Knicks player in my lifetime, their shot develop better than I've seen Miles McBride's shot develop in the time that he's been in the league, right? I'm literally not sure about that. And look, the numbers right now are stupid. 56% from downtown. Understand, folks?
That'll take a dip.
I'm not. And the real or not is not me saying that he's going to shoot 56%. We know basketball here. We're not saying that.
Yes.
Okay? We're not saying that. 36% last year in the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's above league average. That's kind of where you want him to shoot. That or better. Can he do that? So what I'm asking, real or not, for you, Bryan, is can he shoot 36% or better this year, which he's doing right now? Obviously, it's astronomical at 56%. And that means 1 out of every 2 shots is absolutely going in. He is a career 36% shooter from downtown. So, Bryan, is the shooting, not the 56% shooting from downtown, is the great shooting we're seeing from McBride real? And do we see him closer to a 40% three-point shooter this year?
I was going to say 40% is probably the number. You remember Quentin Grimes? Remember him?
Yeah.
Because he was in front of Deuce McBride in like the guard rotation and was supposed to be like the next 3-and-D guy, and they ended up trading him and was like, hey, we'll extend Deuce McBride and give him a role and see what's happening. And it turned out to be another smart front office. I can't believe how smart this front office has been, given what we've seen for the last 20, 25 years.
We have
body
seen
of work.
This
is legitimately one of the smartest front offices in basketball, and has been for 3 years now. Maybe like something along those lines. Some may argue even longer than that. I think the shooting is real. I think he could shoot 40% or close to 40% from 3 for a season. I do think he can. Like, we're end of the season in April, and I think we could see Deuce McBride 38, 39, maybe 40%, like anywhere along those lines. Is he going to be a 6 man of the year candidate? Like, that's an interesting conversation. Right now he would be, but it's 4 games. We'll see. There are some other people I think are going to be strong in that category. Trey Mann, for example, among others, maybe Karis LeVert, depending on how Cleveland goes, but I think he can be in that mix as well. And yeah, they definitely won the he definitely won the Deuce McBride Quentin Grimes sort of battle. Quentin Grimes is playing in Dallas right now, but he's hanging on barely to a rotation spot, playing 11 minutes a game.
Yeah, Knicks made the right move there, and they have one of the best value contracts in the NBA right now. I also agree with you on this. I think Deuce McBride's three-point shooting will be really good. I think if he's anywhere close to a 40% three-point shooter, that is a huge, huge, huge plus for the Knicks, who can still add another shooter. We'll see if what happens when Landry Shamet comes back. We'll see what happens going forward. I just wanted to know, I saw Brightest Future, and we appreciate you checking in with us in the comments. He did make a good point. He said Precious out is getting Hart more
Yeah.
opportunity. Also,
Yep.
I think that is a fantastic point there
Yep.
in terms of his rebounding percentage. Shout out to you, Brightest Future. That is a really good point there, and I think that is impacting those numbers too. I do think that's why I think you'll see some slippage in those numbers, but I still think you can see 14.5% to 15% in terms of his rebounding rate. That one shocked me here. Okay, last thing, Brian, I do love this segment because I think it is absolutely fun. I think there'll be some things to talk about each week. One talked about Jalen Brunson with his assists, increasing him dishing the rock. We saw 9 assists against the Heat on Wednesday night. He's got a 3.29 assist to turnover ratio. That would be his career best. 29%, 29.9, excuse me, just under 30%. Assist percentage, his career best is 31.5, which we saw last season. Now, I'm somebody who said, okay, this year he's got some better talent around him in the starting five. I talked about this with Kevin Walsh Jr. when he came on me in terms of betting the Knicks. Would it be a good bet to bet Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists per game this year? I thought we could see some of those assist numbers increase. You saw it closer even to around 7 in playoffs with, I would say, lesser talent in the starting five. Do you think this is something we see? We saw him looking for more of his teammates on Wednesday night. Do you see those assist numbers going up for Jalen Brunson? Is that real or not?
So far, his usage would also be a career high, 32.6. So it's weird. I think the usage will come a little bit down. It was 32.5 last year, 32.6 this year. And I feel like it can maybe land at like 30, 31-ish. So maybe a slight drop off. I think the assist turnover ratio could be real. I don't know if he's going to get to, because I've seen some people talking about they want to see him get 7, 8 assists per game, which, you know me, real point guards stand up. Like, I want to see point guards average 7, 8 assists per game all the time. But I don't know if he's going to do that, but I think he can, and I do think it'll benefit like just how they're built now to get those catch and shoot opportunities for OG Anunoby, for Mikal Bridges. And some of this is, it could be just guys missing shots. We mentioned OG Anunoby and Josh Hart only shooting 28% each from three. Like, I think both of those numbers, at least one of those numbers, but both of those numbers are likely to come up. At the same time, Karl Anthony Towns was like 73% from three. I'm not even joking. Like, that's the actual number. And that's going to drop.
Yes.
Like, maybe he's at 40 at the end of the year, maybe not. I don't know. But I think the assist to turnover ratio could be real. I still would like to see the assist total and the assist percentage, which is under 30%, come up a little bit, because that's dropped from the 33% last year. Ultimately, what people are going to care about are wins and losses. But I do think there's room for him to kind of make that next step as a floor general because of the team that they have around him. He actually has more help this year to do that. So
yeah, I think so. And I think you make a great point about if some of those shooting percentages, specifically on catch and shoot threes from guys like Mikal Bridges, like OG Anunoby, go up. I think you could see those assist numbers go up. I am intrigued about his usage. I'm glad you brought that up. And I think that's something for us to keep an eye on that might come up in another real or not segment that we'll do in a couple of weeks. But I think the increase in dishing the rock, I think you will see the assist numbers and the assist percentage go up. I don't know how much that'll go up, but I do think it'll go up, especially as guys feel more comfortable in the offense and start hitting more shots, which I expect to trend within the right direction. So we'll see how that goes.